All right. I call this regular meeting of Oakley Planning Commission to order at 6:30 p.m. on December 5th. We'll start with roll call. Vice Chair Verduzco.
Here.
Commissioner Price.
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
Commissioner Krieg.
Here.
And I am Chair Chuko are present. Let's see. Thank you all for being here tonight. We truly appreciate you being with us on this festive holiday season. We know everybody's super busy. We'll try to go through this meeting as efficient as we can, but we sincerely appreciate every one of you participating in making our city and our community better. With that said, Commissioner Krieg, if you would kindly lead us in Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. Thank you, Commissioner Krieg. Moving on to item number 2.1, public comments. At this time, I only received an online comment from an individual who did not indicate a specific agenda item, nor, and did request actually to speak. Mr. Willis, are you present with us tonight? Okay. All right, so having no other speaker cards in front of me, we will move on to the consent calendar. Item 3.1, approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting held on November 7th.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, so we got Commissioner Krieg making a motion and Commissioner Ramirez seconding the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those against, nay. Hearing none, the motion passes. Moving on to item 3.2, approval of the 2024 meeting dates. Did all commissioners have a chance to look at the dates? Are you all happy with them? Would you be able to make those meetings? Okay, can someone entertain a motion, please?
I'll move a motion to approve the 2024 meeting dates.
Second.
All right, so moved by Vice Chair Verduzco, seconded, and seconded by Commissioner Price. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, nays, hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, public hearings, item 4.1, Town Place Suites. Mr. Strelo, do you have a presentation at this point, or staff member?
Yeah, so I would like to point out that the applicant for this project has confirmed their attendance tonight. However, I do not believe they're here. If the chair would like to double check, but I don't believe they're here right now. If the chair wishes, we could perhaps move item 7.1, who I know the applicants are present, take action on that.
The 1961 Carpenter Road, correct?
Yes, and give our applicants on item 4.1 a few more minutes to arrive.
You know what, I like this proposition. It's a very sound idea. Do we have any opposition from my commissioners? No. All right, if there's none, we're going to amend the agenda right now and jump to the item 7.1. 1971 Carpenter Road Preliminary General Plan Amendment. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Does staff have a report? Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Give me one moment to get it loaded up. Thank you, commissioners. All right, thank you so much. Tonight, I'm presenting the staff report for a work session on a potential preliminary general plan amendment at 1961 Carpenter Road. First, I want to give you an idea of what part of town we're talking about tonight. As always, this is in the southwest area of town there and signified by the star. Next, we want an idea of a closer look at the vicinity, and here we have 1961 Carpenter Road in yellow, and you can see it's on the southeast corner of Empire Avenue and Carpenter Road there, and there's an isometric view to give you an idea of where the home is on the property and how the rest of the property looks. Now for the project site, 1961 Carpenter Road is a little over 3.5 acres, and it's designated commercial in Oakley's general plan. It's zoned commercial as well. The property has an existing single-family home and associated accessory structures. The adjacent properties have a variety of existing uses, which reflect the area's diverse zoning designations. To the east, the properties fall, here, I'm just going to give you a better view. To the east, the properties fall under commercial zoning. These properties include a vacant site right there neighboring it, and a multi-purpose property serving as a residence, event venue, and garage door supplier. Further beyond that, outside of view on this image, is Almond Grove Elementary School. And then south of the subject property is a home situated on commercially zoned land, followed by a commercial shopping center located a few hundred feet further south. On the western side, you can see there two properties that are designated as agricultural preserve. The properties directly to the north form part of a residential neighborhood consisting of single-family homes. And another item I wanted to look at is where is the closest residential high area, and that is to the southwest about 550 feet, 3300 Neroli Road. On a later slide, I can better point that out. That is the closest property designated residential high, which accommodates apartments. Now for the next slide, why do we do work sessions? Oakley typically suggests a work session for any proposed general plan amendment. General plan amendments can come with a lot of uncertainty for applicants, and a work session allows an applicant to present their concept and receive feedback from the Planning Commission, the City Council, and from the public before heavy investment is put into the full application and the associated required documents. No decision is to be made tonight. The applicant simply receives feedback and may choose to apply with their full application after the City Council provides feedback in January. Now to finally cover the applicant's specific request. The applicant has requested this work session to discuss the merits of an amendment to the general plan to change 1961 Carpenter Road, which is that corner property there, to change its land use designation from commercial to residential high in order to accommodate a 92-unit multifamily residential project. The applicant, and I apologize, I would like to go back to this slide just to show you. In the southwest corner there, in the bottom left corner, is that pink property. That is the closest residential high currently, so you can get an idea. And then the last thing, thanks for your patience, you'll just see there's a variety of colors here, and that reflects how diverse the designations are in this area. The applicant and project architect who are here tonight provided a conceptual design for the project that they have in mind. The applicant's conceptual design depicts a 92-unit development which would utilize the state's density bonus law to achieve a density of 25.1 units per gross acre. 10 units of the 92 in the conceptual plan would be below market rate. Here is that site plan that the applicant has provided. All right, here are some elevations provided in the conceptual plans. The conceptual plans include a mix of apartment types ranging from 1 to 3 bedroom units. The conceptual plans include 136 parking spaces surrounding the apartments with a mix of uncovered parking, carport-based parking, and garages. In the plans provided, the majority of the development is gated and surrounded by fencing. An entrance and 2 exits are proposed along Empire Avenue, shown in this figure here. All right, the ultimate purpose of a work session is to get feedback from yourselves, the Planning Commission, as well as the public. Staff does provide a very limited analysis in our staff report. When evaluating amendments like the one proposed tonight, let's use this slide. When evaluating amendments like the one proposed tonight, it's important to conduct a comparative review of the land uses and land use designations of adjacent properties. The neighboring property to the east is currently undeveloped and is also designated commercial. When considering how these 2 adjacent properties should be designated in our general plan and subsequently developed, having the corner parcel be designated residential high while the interior parcel remains commercial may be the least desirable of available options. A commercial use developed on the neighboring property, that one to the east, could feel distant from Empire Avenue and out of place with the surrounding land uses. It may be more ideal to have the interior neighboring parcel designated as residential high, leaving the prominent corner we're discussing tonight for commercial development. It could also be considered more ideal for both parcels to be designated together as both residential high, or to retain their existing commercial designations. So there's a range of options there, and we can look at those tonight. Staff did want to inform the Commission that should the applicant receive positive feedback tonight, there is not an overt concern with that changing the designation of the subject property would result in too great a variety of land uses in this area. There is precedent in the city for areas that have been developed with diverse land uses. One example is the area around the courtyard at Cypress Grove Development, which is at East Cypress Road and Rubens Way. South, this will be best for painting the mental picture. This is the multifamily development that's across the street to the south of Iron House Elementary School. The area integrates higher density housing with commercial zones to the west. You'll recall there's a storage facility and Chevron station there, 2 schools to the north, and nearby single-family residences. Moreover, due to recent judicial precedent, this development could potentially be approved without being considered inappropriate spot zoning. Sometimes folks are concerned when you see that diverse range, but it wouldn't be an issue here. Thanks for your patience. Let me get to the staff recommendation. This is an advisory hearing only. There's no process to approve a project because of this work session. The Planning Commission may act in an advisory role to the City Council. Staff will include the Planning Commission's consensus direction, and if there is any, and minutes from this meeting to the City Council at a future work session. Following this presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on our report. The applicant and project architect have prepared a presentation for you after I answer any questions, and they can answer your questions as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I guess we can maybe proceed with the report as well.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, so Ben, you may come up, and there is a clicker there on the podium for you.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Evan, for this. Thank you, commissioners, for this opportunity to discuss this project. My name is Benjamin Johansson. I'm an architect with LCA Architects, and I've been working with Prime Live Development on the early stages of this project. Evan did a thorough job of presenting kind of the big picture, and hopefully this presentation just provides a little more detail of what we're envisioning. Let's see, which one is that? There we go. This is just an overview context plan showing where this is relative to the cities of Oakley, Brentwood, and Antioch. We feel like this is a strategic location for multifamily with the large shopping center to the south, proximity to schools. It just was looking at the housing element and considering what the areas that have been identified as high resource areas in our state, and this is within the part of Oakley that's considered the higher resource area, and we feel like this project would introduce new types of housing in a strategic area that would provide for opportunity for residents of all income levels to live in this area, particularly, with the types of jobs available in this close proximity. So this is another aerial showing the single family in the foreground. We've got 1961 Carpenter Road, the sports club, and then looking onto the shopping center. The elementary school is very close to the.
So while you have this map up there, where is the other piece of property that's zoned high density?
It would be, if you look to the upper right of 1961, there's a triangular piece. There's an easement or right of way just beyond it. It's the back part
Okay.
of that triangular
Thank you.
piece.
That's helpful.
Here are some street level views. The site's pretty wide open as it is, but it has a well-developed streetscape, sidewalks, access. This is existing general plan map. I appreciate it. Evan showed a close-up, and that worked well to show the scale of the commercial, but I think it also spoke to that how the area has developed relative to the general plan map you have within the existing commercial zoning you have, or land use designation. There's single family homes on there. There's the sports club. Then there's an area of the sports club that's actually land use is residential medium that's now tennis courts. And so we see this maybe as an opportunity to reintroduce some of that residential density that into the area. And then also just there hasn't been much commercial development within this commercial land use. And so kind of a question is why, and are there opportunities to introduce projects that will utilize this land and add value to the city? Similar with the zoning, but the zoning actually consolidates the commercial to a smaller area. Here's our conceptual site plan. Everything's wet cement at this point. We wanted to present to you what we saw as sort of the maximum development of the site, and but also to kind of put our cards on the table, and then to also show you what we feel like is possible. The site's laid out with 4 residential buildings, each 3 stories tall, which would fit within the height limit of the zoning designation that we're proposing. We have a mixture of 1, 2, and 3 unit buildings. We feel the developer in particular felt like introducing at least a few 3-unit building units is a valuable addition that provides housing for special needs populations, for families and stuff that maybe wouldn't be able to fit into the 1 and 2 bedroom units. There's there's primary entrance is off of the northwest corner. There's an amenity space at the ground level of the building facing that. That would be the only entrance into the site. There's also exiting through that curb cut as well as through one to the southwest. Just a real quick kind of aside, we did look at the site next door. One reason we feel like this site is better for multifamily housing is because of the opportunity to have separation between two entrances. We've done planning on parcels similar to the one that's internal to the block, and often the fire department wants two exits, and they have to be separated. And it's hard along a narrow frontage to get the separation that's asked for. As Evan mentioned, we have a mixture of parking types. We hope to provide a nice landscaped pedestrian experience throughout. And as I mentioned, there's residential amenities at the ground level of the northwest building. This is just calculations how we got to the density. The proposed base density is 16.7 units to the acre, and then we propose providing a minimum of 15% very low income units in order to qualify for a 50% density bonus. That would allow for 92 units on the site at the density of 25.1 units to the acre. Got a mix of 1s, 2s, and 3s. And then we're currently proposing to provide parking somewhere in between the city standard and the density bonus standard. We'd like to get it into the range of 1.5 as a minimum. Just massing plans, these are the elevations with kind of a transitional style to them. And then we've provided typical unit plans that we feel like meet the market. So just a final thing in the staff report, Evan mentioned a couple of, that there were housing element action items that this could help contribute to. Two of them that in my reading through were to encourage development of new affordable rental housing, and then also it talked about encouraging the use of density bonus to provide more affordable housing as well. So, we feel like this can contribute a lot towards the goals that the city has of providing new construction. I have the table down there. It's over 1,000 units is kind of the goal for the next 8 years, and so this would provide 8%, 8.5% of that. So, anyways. Thank you for this opportunity to present and look forward to your feedback.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Okay, so we heard all the reports, correct? Thank you. Let's see. At this point, I don't have any public comment cards in front of me. So I would just ask if any members present right now in the audience, you would like to express any of the comments in regards to this project. If not, we'll just keep moving forward. I did not receive any online comments either. So since this being a work session, let's just maybe have a conversation between us, the commissioners, to see how we feel about this. What would be our recommendation ultimately to the city council? All right.
The map shows, it looks like the only way to get into or out of facility is for northbound traffic, because it's has a divider between southbound and northbound. So to get in, you have to, I guess, make a U-turn at Neroli if you're not coming. Yeah.
Yes, it's currently considered. We're open to studying.
There we go. Yeah.
We're open to studying curb cuts at Carpenter if it felt like it would improve the circulation.
So the only way to get in or out of is if you're going north on Empire. So if a person is traveling south on Empire, they'd have to go down to Neroli, make a U-turn, and get in that way. Or if they wanted to go south, sorry, if they wanted to go south on Empire, they'd have to go north and make a U-turn at Carpenter? So was there, I know you said that having the short distance on Carpenter Road would make it difficult to comply with fire department regulations with 2 entrances and exits, but was there a thought given to maybe having one exit on Carpenter and one on Empire?
That's certainly something that we could study.
Yeah, actually, appreciate your comment, Commissioner Krieg.
I only knew north from south.
Yeah. No, but the reality, though, is a lot of people will be traveling towards Lone Tree Way, right? I would imagine majority of the people would like to turn left on Empire. So perhaps there could be done some kind of study or some kind of revision could be made so that exit could be at least exist on the Carpenter Road, at least one of them,
There's currently a light at Carpenter, a traffic signal at Carpenter and Empire, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So if there was an exit on Carpenter, then they could make that left onto
Right.
Empire to go to Lone Tree.
Commissioner Price, you had a comment?
Yes, might be possible to take and do a left-hand turn lane for the people that are heading south so that they could break that medium and actually be able to turn into the complex there.
Does staff have any comments in regards to this specific issue?
No, I apologize. I was checking with the audience if they had public comment, and they did. When we can
Thank you.
address that,
They do.
they did. When we get to a good stopping point, we can open up public comment again.
Okay.
But I'm so sorry. Would you be able to repeat the specific question?
So I guess the discussion was going in regards to the both exits being on Empire versus one being on Empire and Carpenter. Idea being that a lot of people would be traveling towards shopping and all the amenities that exist on Lone Tree Way. They, just making it easier for them and avoiding, conglomeration of traffic on that, intersection.
If you don't mind, Chair, I'd like to jump in and address that. So I want to remind the commission that staff has not really done much analysis on this. What you're seeing before you here is what the potential applicant has put together to give everyone a concept of what could be developed here. What we're really hoping to get is discussion and comments on the base land use and the decision on whether this would be an appropriate site, whether it be this project or a completely differently designed project for this type of land use.
Understandable.
If there is ever an application filed for an official general plan amendment, that would come with all of the reports and studies that we require, including a traffic impact study for pedestrian safety, bicycle safety, and of course, distances of driveways to different roads and what the turning movements would be. We often do receive applications that request things like curb cuts in existing medians for better access. It's simply too early
Makes sense.
for this to be able to give any kind of like credible responses to that. I do appreciate and like that those comments are coming forward because I'm writing notes down now for in case this ever does become a project, we know exactly which items are important to the commission. So I do encourage to continue those comments and questions, but unfortunately we won't have much of analysis to provide at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Strelo. Now, if we could go back to public comments, I don't have any cards in front of me, but do we have somebody online?
No, I apologize. I think just maybe folks not familiar with the the system for cards. I believe we have at least one or two commenters in the audience.
Okay. So how would we how would we do this? Do we amend can they fill out the cards right now? Is it possible? The public. Okay, so yeah, in the lobby and the table, guys, please take care of that. So just to be respectful of everybody's time, if we can just continue on with our discussion and then call on them. Okay, do any other commissioners have any comments, questions, perhaps?
I have a question for our applicant. Is that okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right now?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this evening. It's very, very much appreciated. And the report was super thorough. I think what I would love to hear, and kind of as a resident here, someone who grew up here, right? And I think the comments about like Empire, north and south bound, we drive these streets all the time, so it does get dense right there on Empire. And I'm just curious, with the ethos of this project and coming to Oakley and looking at this parcel of land, how you're thinking as an architect or your firm is considering complete streets. So it's part of our general plan, these complete streets, right? So like it being so close to an elementary school, is there bikeability? I think that's one thing that's on my mind with this project is, or future projects with high density, is how streets can be complete and safe, and how you're approaching that before testing it.
No, I mean, I think sort of like Mr. Strelo said, you know, when an application is presented, we would have that analysis completed, and would want to honor the policies that are laid out by Oakley in the general plan, or other related documents related to the complete streets. So I'll certainly write that down, and you know, we don't have a direct answer at this time, but we would consider it going forward.
Well, back to the question of density in this particular subject property versus neighboring property. The neighboring property is currently, I'm looking at the picture here, the neighboring property is a commercial? Is it zoned commercial? Is that what you showed us?
They're both zone commercial.
Yes,
Well, would that
commercial.
make sense, though, to have houses on a corner and then they look about the same size, so.
Right, Commissioner Creek. So, just to kind of bring us back to what we're, need to, I guess, potentially make a recommendation to City Council and staff is, the question is, do we keep those two properties? And you're correct, they seem to me like they're about the same size. Do we keep them as it is, which is zoned commercial right now, right? Do we amend one of them to be this residential high as proposed here? Do we amend and change the neighboring property, which you just mentioned, right, and keep this one residential, or, keep this one commercial? Or do we change both properties, to to residential? So we have 4 different options, right? And maybe that's something we can all discuss right now. Could you? Yeah. Thank you.
So I like the idea of changing this proposed to high-density residential and leaving the other one, the eastern, the property on the east side, commercial, so it kind of creates a buffer between the event space that's there and the homes.
Oh,
If that makes sense.
Is that place that with all the trees and the that's the event center?
The wedding, yeah,
Oh.
what is it? Legrand?
Didn't recognize it from this angle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's just my thoughts on it.
Okay, thank you. Do we have both cards at the moment, or just one? Okay, well, we can begin with all right. Kim, do you need a little bit of time to process those, or they go straight to me? Okay, perfect. So we'll move on to public comments and then continue our discussion. All right. Let's see. All right, Ms. Madrigal, would you please approach the dais? You will have 3 minutes to make your comment.
My name is Kim Madrigal. I'm a resident right behind this area where they're planning on putting these apartments. And when we had purchased our home, it was designated for commercial, but not really stated what was going to possibly go there. I don't really have an elementary school child at this moment, but I have still school-age children there. My house literally butts up to Carpenter, and like I know that the entrances right now are on Empire, but if we were to open up onto Carpenter, that span between the signal light that's already existing and to get into that driveway is going to it's already a lot of traffic on that road, especially during school time. So that's really gonna have congestion. And then Empire's already really busy. That's a lot of homes, a lot of cars going up and down that road. I don't know. I like to look outside my house and see Mount Diablo. I really don't want to be looking at a 3-story apartment building. I have a pool back there. 3-story building will be kind of looking into my backyard, to be honest with you. And my fence already, the city didn't make it very high. So people kind of now walking, if they're kind of really tall, can look over my fence. So it's just concerns like, I don't know. I'm not for the apartment complex personally, but my main thing is like traffic and congestion.
Just
and,
general congestion, yeah, of the area.
Hmm?
Thank you, Ms. Madrigal.
Thank you.
Mr. Kurana? I apologize if I mispronounced.
It's Dinesh Kurana.
Thank you, Dinesh. You have 3 minutes.
So I'm also a resident, just like him. My backyard also backs to Carpenter. So she pretty much covered all of them. Traffic is definitely a concern, as you guys were talking about, where that opening will be. Empire is already pretty much tight, and the traffic signal is right over there. So it's a pile of cars standing by. The entrance or the exit from that apartment complex, I feel like it'll be making more congestion. And then schooling. One of them, she goes to elementary. The second one will be ready to go to elementary. And already there's a Magnolia Park, the other residents, the school is already, I feel like, is good among all the other Oakley schools, I would say. But I feel like more students in the school could be like not a very good ratio between teacher and students. And another thing, when we bought the property or the homes, which was like in 2019, that was designated as commercial. And I was expecting it to be more used for something more commercial, as if we have so many housings in Oakley already. So maybe some kind of a plaza or something can come up over there. That was the idea. And another thing is, as Kim just mentioned, the same thing. I have a very beautiful view back from there to my backyard to the Mountain Diablo, having a big building in front of it, which they mentioned it's going to be 3-story. I mean, it's hard to imagine that. So those were kind of concerns I had. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right, we'll go back to our work session amongst the commissioners right now. Do any other commissioner have any comment or question? Or can we entertain maybe a potential recommendation for both staff and city council?
Through the chair, we don't need an official recommendation tonight.
Right.
Yes, just any feedback, and if there is a consensus, we can pass that on to council. Thank you.
Understandable, yeah, thank you. So, okay, so let's rephrase this. Do we have any feedback?
While I share the concern about the increased density, number of bodies that'll be traveling through that area, I'm not sure that would be any different, however, if it were developed as a commercial property. A commercial property can be just as tall as a 3-bedroom or 3-story building. I mean, think of a Costco or even a Safeway, or they're tall buildings. So I don't think the view is going to change regardless of what's built there, either a commercial property or a developed apartment complex. And a commercial property is also going to create a lot of traffic and people movement. So I guess it's just a conversation that we need to have as a city as we move forward. what's the best use of that property.
Right, and perhaps,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm
I'll
sorry,
let you
looking
finish.
at the map as a whole of all of Oakley, there is there's a lot of commercial property that isn't being developed, and there's not a lot of high-density property in particular. And we've got people who need that kind of housing. So it's not an easy decision, or it's not, there's no good answer. It's going to be developed regardless. Just the best use of that particular property is what needs to be considered.
Correct, yeah, and I appreciate you saying this. So regardless, if it's going to be commercial or residential, something will be developed there. And unfortunately, with that it does come with more traffic and congestion. And I mean, sadly, we do live in a very desirable area. And I mean, the county and the Bay Area itself, a lot of people are moving here. And look, there's just the reality of life to all of this. And we absolutely understand. We appreciate you coming and expressing your concern, right? So no matter even what we will decide today as far as recommendation, this is not the final process or not a final say, right? This is going to be kind of a long study, right, that staff will conduct, and then city council will be making those decisions. So I'm sure, those recommendations can change over time. So thank you for voicing your concerns and making those comments. And I would strongly recommend for you to keep expressing your opinions further, in the city council level as well. Now, should we try to entertain an idea of potentially recommending, saying that this is okay to switch this particular parcel to residential high? Don't change it. Mr. Strelo.
Through the chair, in previous similar work sessions, what we're typically looking for is even as little as if the commission feels like this is an application that is worthy of being looked at further. As Evan stated previously in the staff report, and we try to explain in there, a general plan amendment comes with a CEQA analysis. There's a costly upfront application, and it can take several months only to possibly get to the decision makers and have them have zero interest in seeing that property change hands.
Right.
So this is the ability to have the public come out, provide comments as we've heard tonight, and for the commission to say, man, I hate this idea, or hey, this might work, we can see how this could work, or whatever it may be, and just give the potential applicant a little bit to go on. We still need to bring this same type of work session back to the city council. And if at the end of that, the applicant submits an application, we will have public hearings. We do have public comments on these work sessions, but we will have public hearings with both the Planning Commission and the City Council if this were ever to become an official application. So you laid that out for the audience just fine. I just wanted to reiterate that. There would be at least three more hearings in front of the commission and council in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I guess, we're on the same page. I was just trying to see if the council basically would like to entertain idea, even continuing with this, entertaining this further. Okay, I don't see anybody objecting to this. Commissioner Ramirez, what is your take on this? Are you in favor of potentially at least?
I really, your response I really appreciated because, I'm an educator, so I'm thinking about the students, about our parents, what's proximate to the location, and kind of previous meetings where constituents have come to City Hall sharing concern around Laurel and the development of Laurel and that land. So I'm in much more, I think, envisioning, going to school in that neighborhood too, envisioning homes for people there. I'm much more in line with versus commercial, larger development.
Okay, so it sounds like, look, at least there's nobody here completely, totally opposing this, right? So let's, I would say, continue researching this further, right? We would love to solicit more comments from the public. Thank you for being here tonight. We'd like to hear more from people in your area. And yeah, let's see how it goes. All right. So with that said, can we go back to item 4.1, Town Place Suites? Mr. Strelo, do you have a report, or do we have a report from
Yeah,
the applicant?
I would like to state the applicant is here, so they
Applicant is here,
Made
okay,
their
wonderful.
way. And this is Mr. Kevin Valente. He's with Rainey Planning and Management, and the city has a contract with Rainey to assist with on-call planning services where they can act as project planner. So Kevin has worked directly with me and the applicants and outside agencies at putting together the staff report in front of you, and he's been gracious enough to come tonight to give a presentation. Also from Rainey, we have Mr. Rod Stinson, and he is our CEQA expert, so if there's any questions on CEQA, we found no new impacts with this project, but if any questions come up, he's here to answer those as well. So Kevin, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Commission. Kevin Valente, Senior Planner for Rainey Planning and Management. Let's see. Tonight we have a proposed project located in the northwestern part of the city along near Highway 160. Located near the intersection of Main Street and Bridgehead Road. The project site is bordered by existing commercial uses, undeveloped land, and existing agricultural land. The 3.36 acre project site is currently vacant and has a commercial general plan land use designation and is located in the city's general commercial zoning district. The proposed project is requesting a variance to exceed the maximum allowable building height in the general commercial zoning district to construct an approximately 55-foot tall hotel. The project also requires a design review approval for the proposed floor plans, elevations, site plans, and landscape plans. Both entitlements require Planning Commission approval. The proposed project includes 4 stories and 117 sleeping rooms. The proposed hotel also includes meeting rooms, a fitness center, and an outdoor pool area. The current maximum allowable height in the commercial district is 35 feet. The majority of the proposed hotel would be 44.5 feet tall, and the building architecture elements would reach approximately 55 feet. It's 54 feet and 9 inches. Staff determined the surrounding businesses would not be negatively impacted by the increased height proposed by the variance exception. And in addition, the initial study checklist that was prepared for the project determined the proposed height would not result in any significant impacts associated with aesthetics. Staff has also determined the proposed design of the building, including the architectural character, landscaping, site elements, would be consistent with the city's commercial and industrial design guidelines. The proposed building materials would complement the surrounding buildings in the area, and the use of excessive reflective glare producing materials are not proposed for this building. New landscaping would be provided along the site boundaries surrounding the proposed building and throughout the parking area. The proposed project is consistent with the commercial general plan land use designation and commercial zoning district. And as I mentioned previously, the proposed project is also consistent with the city's adopted commercial and industrial design guidelines. The requested variance also substantially meets the intent and purpose of the general commercial zoning district and would not significantly impact their surrounding businesses. The complete findings for project approval are included in the draft resolution included in your staff report packet. I would like to note there are some proposed modifications to the draft resolution included in your packet regarding the project's advisory notes. These changes come from your city's planning department, which will establish the city's standard resolutions from this point moving forward. So just some rewording of a couple advisory notes and correctly identifying the Iron House Sanitation District as well as adding a new advisory note for the Contra Costa Water District. For compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, a modified initial study 15183 checklist has been prepared for the proposed project. And the checklist determined that the proposed project would not result in any impacts beyond what was evaluated in the city's general plan EIR. Therefore, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt the proposed resolution with the proposed changes to the advisory notes and approve the project as conditioned. That concludes my quick presentation, and I can answer any questions you have, as well as my colleague, Rod Stinson. And the applicant is also here tonight to discuss the project and answer any questions the commission has.
Thank you, Kevin. Would applicant like to approach the dais and maybe make a few comments?
Hello, everyone. My name is Priyank Patel. On behalf of Core Hotels, we own and operate hotels in the Bay Area, including the Best Western on Bridgehead in Maine. So we've been looking over the past 8 years to eventually bring another hotel into town, which timing is good for us now. This brand, it's a Marriott, by the way, Town Place by Marriott. Usually bringing Marriott into town kind of elevates the area. And this is an extended stay product. So people staying for longer than 4 to 5 days or longer, fishing tournaments and things like that. So we're just looking forward to bringing it into town.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from commissioners to staff or to the applicant? Okay, having none.
I have a question for applicant.
Go ahead.
Thank you for being here this evening. It's much appreciated. So I take a lot of pride in Oakley having Big Break, one of East Bay Parks, which will be really close to the current hotel that you're operating, but also where this site is. Has there been any consideration of incorporating native plants into the landscaping plan and complementing a lot of our biodiversity here?
Would you like?
Good evening. My name is Nizam Ahmed. I'm with the architects team. The landscaping will be according to the Contra Costa County recommended species, and also we take great consideration about providing native plants that are drought tolerant.
Would you have like a percentage breakdown, or just kind of how, when you go build hotels, like what is your guiding principle?
You mean the landscape percentage?
Yeah, for like percent of natives.
Yeah, we have about 30% landscape. And the site is about 3.36 acres, so 30% of that is open space and landscaping.
Thank you. That answers your question, right, Commissioner Ramirez? Yeah. Or do you have additional
I'm just
follow-up
wondering
question?
if you'd be open to going up above that 30%, or if that's. But that's just a curious question.
Sorry. I don't have a current number on what the percentage of that landscaping on that native spaces, right? But on our landscape design, we did mention
Because I tried seeing if there was a planting plan in the.
yes,
among the plans. I didn't see
there's a
one.
planting plan.
There, okay.
Mr. Ramirez, while they look up that information, just a little bit more information on landscaping. The city has adopted the state's water efficient landscape ordinance, and part of those requirements are that California native plants and with drought-tolerant capabilities are used through landscaping. If you're looking for a specific type of native species, perhaps the commission wants to make that recommendation, we can always try to work with the applicant to integrate that into the landscape plan. I think it's a really cool idea. Things like non-functional turf would be prohibited. That would not be included in this plan at all. So we really are looking at drought tolerance, so very little water needed to landscape the area, no turf, and that's about it. Every project is required to comply with that. Some of them do things like Dabo Water District did, where they have the garden and they have certain plants called out and that sort of thing, and others are just doing landscaping. So we're happy to take any recommendations by the commission.
Commissioner Ramirez, do you have any of those recommendations right now, or would you like to take a moment?
I think I'd appreciate that. We can talk offline about that, kind of what that process can look like for applicants to kind of submit that information for us, like planting plans and things like that. I'd appreciate if it was above 30%. I mean, again, our biodiversity here is such a gem, right? So if it was above 30%.
It is above 30%.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so having no public comment cards in front of me, I will just move us to the deliberation process. Having at this point no further questions from the board, just to summarize, if somebody can entertain a motion to approve the said project in accordance to also the draft resolution modifications that were presented to us tonight, that would be greatly appreciated.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Price and seconded by Commissioner Krieg. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to reports. Item 6.1, reports from the staff members. It looks like we do have a report on the agenda from the Contra Costa County Office of Emergency Services. Mr. Strela, would that be you? Okay, thank you.
Yes, Chair. Thank you very much. So staff wanted to pass on a public meeting announcement for 3 public meetings for the hazard mitigation planning that is part of the Contra Costa County Office of Emergency Services. Unfortunately, one of the meetings happened yesterday. One of them is happening tonight, but the most important one is the one held here in the city of Oakley, at least for our residents, and that will be hosted right here in the Oakley City Council chambers tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m., and it will last for up to 1 hour until 7:30 p.m. Your city manager, assistant city manager, myself, and our public works director, city engineer will be here to assist the public in that meeting and take on some information. We'll also be attending a meeting tomorrow at the county to go over that with certain county staff. And just really quickly, just to read from the public meeting announcement, I have a few copies of it in both English and Spanish if anybody wants to grab one. It just says the Contra Costa County Office of Emergency Services wants to know how it can better prepare for your disasters. The meeting will provide the public an opportunity to review the potential hazards that could occur within the county and will request input for the various mitigation measures intended to eliminate or reduce the negative impact of those hazards. And then there will be translation assistance in Spanish. So, again, tomorrow night, 6:30, right here in the Oakley City Council chambers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Strelo. Item 6.2, reports from the Oakley Planning Commission. Do we have any reports from the members? Commissioner Price.
Transplant meeting was passed again last month, so no report.
Okay, thank you. All right, Commissioner Krieg.
Have something interesting to tell the staff. A friend of mine that lives in Southern California was recently appointed to the Planning Commission for his city, and we were comparing notes, and you guys are doing great. He said your city is way more together than mine. So it was nice to hear. And he said it in a public meeting. I was on a big Zoom call with a bunch of people. So Oakley gets big 2 thumbs up across the country.
All right. Thank you for that comment.
I have a quick thing, but I just want to celebrate whoever in City of Oakley just has it looking like a winter wonderland outside.
Oh,
Very
absolutely.
beautiful. So just very, very lovely driving up today.
Every year it's getting better. Thank you.
We will pass that on tomorrow.
Appreciate it. All right. Any requests for future agendas at the moment? All right. Hearing none.
I have one.
You do?
I have a just kind of our conversations tonight around commercial and kind of zoning. I would love maybe in the future next year, kind of our economic development plan and kind of what we're thinking about for supporting small business. That'd be awesome.
All right.
We would be
thank
more
you.
than happy to arrange for our economic development coordinator to find a good time to come in and give a presentation to the planning commission. If that's fine with the chair and
Be
the
great.
commission. I mean, we bring presentations anyways. That would be a great opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mrs. Strelo. And excellent idea. Appreciate it. Commissioner Ramirez. Staff, members of the public, commissioners, thank you, everyone. It's been a great year. It's a holiday season, so we wish all of you, your beautiful families, to have just time of your life. Enjoy that family time. Don't get too crazy. And with that said, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Happy holidays. And this meeting is adjourned at 7:31.